All right, guys, we're back. It's been a minute since we've done an unboxing, and we have a lot of unboxings to do. We've got Baylan, I've got the BT-1 droid, I've got the Mark 7 suit up, tech, what else? Mark II, videos coming, so just stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. But this is the Baylan Skoll TMS 125 from the Ahsoka series, which highly anticipated, showed up about 5 months early for some reason. Don't know why, but I'm not going to complain. I'm happy to have it, and that's cool. And looking forward to some other figures from this lineup as well. So here we go. Baylan Skoll, looking all kinds of good. Photo of the figure on the box. Typical Star Wars accoutrement, if you will, on the back. Nothing crazy going on there. Let's see what we got going on inside the box. All right, so we got a decent insert. Nothing crazy, just a photo of the figure itself. Nice little portrait of him. And then he's got a USB lightsaber, which we all know before we get into it, it ain't going to look like that. We know that, but that's fine. I'm not expecting a whole lot of posability out of this figure. And I think I talked about that when we did the figure announcement, that it didn't look like there was a lot of range of motion in the torso, but we're going to find out here soon enough. And I don't really think we need it for this particular figure. I think this is more one of those figures that he just has the shelf presence just by standing there looking awesome, kind of like Grand Admiral Thrawn. But we'll see soon enough. On the bottom side of it, you can see, I don't know if you guys can see, there's a piece of tape down here, which I imagine is his cloak. Sometimes Hot Toys tries to get sneaky with tape. Is there another piece over here? Let's see here. There's definitely, I can feel the tape. There we go. All right, so don't forget to check the underside of the box to get all your stuff out of it. So there we go. All right, cloak. All right, so let's see what we got going on. We've got, now this is interesting. Those are kind of an off orangish color, which is kind of cool. Kind of dig that. USB lightsabers. We want to get into the sculpt, then we'll get into the accessories and everything going on in just a second. So we get that off of there, get that off of there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I expected. And it is glorious. We'll get to the accessories in just a little bit. Let's take a quick look at this head sculpt. Man, oh man. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. They nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Now, Hot Toys typically does a good job with older sculpts in general, but the way they did the beard, and it doesn't look just poofy and ridiculous. It looks nicely sculpted and groomed. This looks phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Skin tones look great. There's some nice shading going on with the from light to dark and the gray. There's some whites. There's some, I would say there's a hint of blue, if you will. Not a lot, but there's definitely some. It's on the blue-gray side versus the green-gray side, if you know what I'm talking about. That looks phenomenal. Yeah, that looks quite good. I'm very pleased with that, just first impressions. He's a chunky boy. Like, he's got some weight to him, some width. Definitely the shoulder pads looking good. It's got some nice green, bronze-ish armor stuff going on here. It's got some nice patina. That looks good. What else is in the box? Let's see. So we've got a whole lot of hands. We've got a couple relaxed hands on the figure itself. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got 11 hands. That's a lot of hands. All right. I'm imagining a typical Star Wars display base. Nothing crazy with that. That's fine. And then we've got some USB lightsabers versus a USB-C wired one. And then obviously an unwired one. Let's take a look at the unwired one real quick. This is a big, chunky saber. Like it's proper. It's big. It reminds me of like this one versus some other sabers. Like the width of it is almost like if you got one of those Galaxy Edge sabers. Like they're just oversized. Like he didn't mess around. He built himself a nice chunky saber. It is beautiful. Some silver metallic paint going on the top. Got some red and yellow paint going on there. Nice black grip. Got a D-ring there to hold on the belt. I'm sure at some point we'll make that happen. That is a good looking hilt. And I don't recall, it's been a minute since I've seen the series and paid close attention to his hilt. But I like this one. I think it's very cool. Now, as I mentioned earlier, in the packaging, which we just unboxed and looked at, the blades are more of an orange red than they are a Sith red. All right, they're definitely more orange red. In fact, let me grab a red one and I'll show you what I mean. So I went and grabbed the new Return of the Jedi Vader hilt and blade. So here we are. So this is what we're talking about. Here's Vader. Here's Baylan. I think that makes perfect sense. His would be more of the orangish color and more of in the middle. And then Vader, obviously, Sith red, looking all kinds of badass as well. But there it is. There's the difference between the two. So there's definitely a difference between these guys. So he's definitely going to stand out. If you decide to use these, which are we'll see. I'm not sure if I'm going to or not. Also in the packaging, you're going to need this guy right here. If you want to do the movable eye system, we got that. We've got the clips that go onto his belt and also the stand for the wiring for the USB-C lightsabers. I will not be using a USB-C function because I just don't think it's not worth the time or energy, or honestly, it's just not worth it. So here's a USB box, plug it in there, hang it. It's not that great. And then we get a normal waist crotch grabber, that's fine. On his right index finger, he's got his giant gold ring with some green emerald-ish stuff going on here. I don't know if that's Kyber or whatever, but it's one of those things. And you got some bronze, almost patinaed armor on the back of the hand. So you've got a fist for obviously reasons. Then you've got a gesturing hand. Looks all kinds of cool. What else we've got? We've got another one, another force gesturing hand kind of deal going on there. And then clearly we're going to have a lightsaber holding hand. So there's that. Obviously, he's not wearing a ring on the other hand. So you've got this nice gesturing hand on the left. Another just relaxed hand for the left. Almost like a force choke hand for the left. Like he's grabbing something, doing a force pull. A lightsaber holding hand for the left. And then a fist for the left. And that's always, we already said, 2 relaxed hands already on the figure. As we saw earlier, we've got a cloak that's underneath the box. Let's go ahead and open this guy up, see what this is all about. I'm on the fence on whether or not I'm going to use this or not in my display because the armor that he wears is just so badass looking that I don't know if I want to hide it. So we'll see. But the cloak feels like a nice quality cloak, honestly, other than this thin piece of cardboard that Hot Toys says we need. So we got here. We look at all those remnants. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's like some remnants of the frayed ends on this guy. So here's the bottom edge of this thing, frayed. It's very nicely, it feels nice, but you can see through it, right? You see, like there you go. You see the light going through this thing. So it's definitely not like your typical Jedi cloak that's that thick fabric. This has got some texture to it, and it appears, appears nice. I kind of dig it, actually. So we got, how many wires we got? We got 1 wire there. We got a wire here. So that's 1, 2, 3. Is there a wire there? Yeah, so it's very weak. 4, 5, 6 wires along the length of this guy, and then a wired hood with this faux leather cover on the edge, which definitely is not, yeah, anyways. I don't know if that was necessary. I doubt it's real leather, or else Hot Toys would have told us, and I don't believe they did. And then you got this nice little clip if you want to clip it on there. So I don't know if I'm going to use this, but I do dig it. It's a very dark gray, almost black, like it's very, very, very dark. But I kind of dig that. I'm not a big fan of all like the pieces coming off of it. Like down here, there's more pieces falling off of this guy. But yeah, so be it. So that's pretty good. Let's get to figure. Take a look at, I got all the plastic bits off of this, and the bottom of his skirt, I guess if you will, has that frayed nature as well. I'm not sure I'm 100% a fan of that. Like it just, I'm guessing it's screen accurate, because it's on the cloak and it's on here. But I think some people are not going to be very happy with that, honestly. Maybe. I don't know. All right, when you get yours, did yours look like this? I haven't watched any unboxings or reviews or anything like this on this figure. But I feel like that, if that gets caught on something, like I'm gonna have to be careful because I really don't want to tear this up. Like at all. Oh, I forgot this plastic bit down here. I guess I should get that over there. As I was saying, you've got this beautiful head sculpt. I mean, it's got to be like 9 out of 10 beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. And the armor on this has this nice hint of a very dark green. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like just the slightest hint of green going on here. We've got the belt that obviously goes to the green, and then we've got the green going on with the armor pieces and the hand armor, and then it goes down to the boots. Now, this is interesting, and I wasn't sure about this when I was unboxing this for the first time. But if you remember the recent Kenobi show, the recent one, the gray suit one, he had this boot that was literally made out of concrete. And when I felt this one, I felt the same thing. I was like, this damn thing's made out of concrete. This sucks. And then boom, it does this. Like, yeah. So I'm not, I'm not sure. Like you're gonna get some ankle rotation out of this, but then you're gonna get this action. Like if you do, like in other words, if I do this and I do, like you're gonna be limited by. It's better than the Kenobi version. So don't let me complain too much about that. It's better than that, but it feels cheap. Like this just feels cheap, and not only that, but you've got the ankle extenders going on down here, or the actual leg. They should have given him a sock or something. Like, and I may just have to put one on there because if you got this going on here, nobody, like, we don't want to see your ankles, dude. Like, we don't. So that's I don't really like that so much. What else? Armor's held on by Velcro. The greaves kind of go back and forth. They're floating, so nothing really going on there. So you can maneuver those out of the way if you want to. The tailoring on this thing, it looks beautiful, and I can't get over like the color scheme on this is perfect. It is. There's nothing else in the collection with this color scheme in Star Wars that I can think of at the moment. I just can't. Like this green, it's just beautiful, man. Absolutely. Look at this. Look at this. It's just beautiful, man. Now, obviously, this is Velcro and really kind of annoying, but this is, yeah, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. By having all this beautiful stuff going on here and then covering it with a cloak, feels like a little bit of a letdown. But when we get to posing, we'll see. We'll have to find some kind of display option. As far as range of motion, double bend on the elbow. Plenty of range of motion here. There is significant padding going on. Like there's not going to be like torso twists. There's a reason why the blogger photos didn't show you a whole lot because there ain't much there. And then ab crunch. Let me throw this out there. There ain't no ab crunch. Like it ain't happening. Just ain't happening. So this is gonna, again, like Grand Admiral Thrawn, it's gonna be a figure you pose. It's gonna look awesome on the shelf, but are you gonna do some crazy fight scenes with them? No, not gonna happen. But on this gauntlet here, on this right hand, you've got some different displays and different buttons and lights and things going on here versus the left, where it's got a different look right there. So that's nice. Outside of that, it's just good looking, man. You got a hook here for the D-ring, for the lightsaber hilt. Absolutely beautiful. All right, so let's pop this head off and see here what we got. All right, so we got the same head function that we saw with the previous Kenobis. I gotta take this plastic bit off. So we're continuing down this trend, I guess, with the movable eyes. This is gonna be the new thing. So that's kind of cool. At least we'll know we'll have something consistent. If they keep making these the same size, that would be nice. Because, just for fun, hear me out. I'm just saying. It could work. It's not as cool as the gray beard, no gray hair and everything. But, it could happen. At least you can interchange it. So we'll take that off of there. Put this back. Oh, yeah, that's much better. That's much better. It's beautiful. All right, guys, you know what we got to do? Let's pose it up. They absolutely nailed this. I'm just happy to have this in the collection. Just saying. So it's beautiful. Head sculpt, freaking 9 out of 10. Might be 10 out of 10. Might be, depending on where I got the eyes located and rotated and all that kind of stuff. But let's just appreciate the level of detail going on in this armor. And then the head sculpt, the greens, the blacks, the brassy patina, this is literally, you could have him standing there, either holding a saber or hands behind the back, parade rest, whatever you want to do. And he's just going to look awesome. Absolutely going to look awesome. And I'm stoked. Now, there is no real posability in the torso area. He's got double bend arms, shoulders. They'll do whatever you want. Knees, double bend. Like, it'll do what you want to do. But if you want to move the midsection, be prepared to just, give up. Like, it's just not going to do its thing. But look at this thing, man. That's just phenomenal all the way down. The tattered sections, as I pointed out earlier, they're a little bit of a nuisance because there's like those little frayed pieces like falling off of this guy, which is kind of a nuisance. The boot, I appreciate the split boot, so I can't really complain too much about that other than he definitely needs socks of some kind. So I think that's a pretty easy fix. I can deal with that. But outside of that, just good looking, man. Just really good looking. Pretty happy to have this in the collection. Just a quick size comparison for the Ahsoka we got previously, which I'm expecting the next one to be the same figure, just different clothes, whatever. And Baylan, and he towers over her like by a lot. And look at the width, like it's just, yeah, it's pretty good. So we've got Baylan here posed up, and the ankles, the way they are, they're a little weak without the boot like clamping down on it. So that's a little bit of a challenge. Not impossible, but definitely he's a big guy. So ankle extenders and whatnot. So there's that. Outside of that, the frayed stuff on the bottom, it's kind of bugging me a little bit because it kind of looks unfinished. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just bugging me slightly. Outside of that, poses just fine. I was able to hide the ankle peg, which just, as you can see there, I've got a pretty good bend on the ankles there. And I think it looks pretty good, just like this, posed up. I'm digging the orangish blade. I kind of dig that a lot. But more than anything, the head sculpt is just fantastic. It's just great. So I'm not sure how many poses we're going to do, because this is going to be one of those that just kind of looks awesome on the shelf, as you can see right here. But I think we can do something. We just got to work around the torso twist that doesn't really exist all that much. So we'll see what we can do. This is 100% how I will be displaying mine. You may want to do the same. Maybe you don't. I got one shoulder showing the armor, one shoulder with the cloak. I've got a little bit of bend in the wire if the cloak is kind of flowing off to the side a little bit. His eyes are currently looking off to his left a little bit. I may change that. We'll see. And he's got his hand on his hilt right there, just looking all kinds of awesome. This thing is absolutely flipping awesome. I mean, if you got this figure coming in the collection, you're going to be happy with it. If you don't, I mean, you're missing out if you collect Star Wars stuff, because these type figures don't come around all the time. A new character, a brilliant head sculpt. It looks amazing. The tailoring's great. Whether or not you like the show or not, the concept of the show, I mean, that's fine. Whatever, you make your judgments on that. I enjoyed it. But the fact that this figure exists, I'm super happy about it. And I'll definitely be looking forward to adding Merrick and Shin Hati to the collection. And come on, Hot Toys, give us a Huyang. That would be flipping amazing. You are collecting other Star Wars items. I do have the Mando, Darth Maul thing, Commando guy here. I've got the Mark II that's here. I've got the Mark 7 suit up that's here. Tech should be here any day. We'll have a review for that. Thanks to Pop Collectibles for getting all these figures for me, because it's way easier that way. But if you wanted this figure, I'd say get it. I'd say jump on it. It's just one of those things that looks cool. Now, my only gripe, and I've mentioned this a few times, is the tattered ends of the cloak and the skirt, I guess if you will. There's a wire in the skirt, but I don't think I'm going to use it. The tattered ends, it kind of looks unfinished. I'm going to let it sit for a little while. I may burn those off. I may do that and singe it and be done with it. I really don't want to take the risk of it getting caught on something, but what are you going to do? But overall, I am super pleased with this thing. And I was going to do another pose, but honestly, he looks so good like this, I'm not going to mess it up. We're going to land it on that. It's going to be simple. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And check out the Facebook group, all that kind of stuff. As always, click what you like. See you next time.